Welcome back, everyone. So this evening, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome a very special guest to the show. He's a man that a lot of you will already be familiar with, of course, and he's also the organiser of the much anticipated St George's Day celebration that's going to take place on April the 23rd, 3 p.m. at Whitehall in central London. Whatever you do, make sure you are there tonight. We welcome, as I say, the organiser, and that, of course, is Danny Tommo. Danny, welcome to the show. Danny, first of all, thanks for coming on. The big question is, what made you decide to organise such a great event for us proud Englishmen?
Yeah, do you know what? We've been doing this for, well, I've been involved properly with activism since 2018. And in 2018, there came a point in my life with what we were seeing, especially what things that had happened to a certain individual. And we felt a burning sensation, a group of us, when we came away from Downing Street that day, protesting against the imprisonment of a journalist asking questions to paedophiles. We had a sensation inside us to do something, and I took it upon myself to start an event on Facebook. This is 2018, and it completely blew up. And I think I stepped away from things about a year and a bit ago, concentrate on the family, concentrate on other things. But I got the urge again when I started realising that this country is heading in a direction which is very dangerous for my children. And when you get that feeling inside you that something bad is going to happen potentially to your children in the future, I think it's an iconic move that everyone should be doing to put themselves in a position where they can do something to show that they care. And that was the reason why when I saw everything that was going on, and then me and Tommy had a conversation. He obviously can't get involved in anything, can't get involved in any organisation. I thought, you know what? I'll come back, I'll step up, and I'll organise a mass event. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be big, really, really big.
It's funny you should say that, Danny, because I myself, I've been a YouTuber now for about 5 years. Got a pretty big channel, not the biggest, but I've got a pretty big channel. I like to think that there's a lot of people out there that respect what I have to say. And it's taken the same inner feeling inside me as a father and a grandfather now of 5 children, the same inner gut feel. It's almost like a fatherly instinct that we've got to protect our beautiful children and their future and what they're going to grow up to, right?
There's so many elements to this. I mean, the way that we look back over the last 4 years with COVID and the vaccines and the lockdowns and the way that now we're living. There's so many elements to standing up on this day and to show a collective group of strength, because it's our time to do something so that our children don't have to. I mean, if we don't do something and it starts on the 23rd, a show of strength, it's our children that are going to be left to have to try and pick up the pieces. And I'm not willing to do that. I'm willing to put myself out there, and I know many, many others are, to hopefully, start the ball rolling on realizing that you can make a difference if everyone comes together and everyone realizes they have a voice. No matter how much you're tarnished online, how many labels are given to you. Once we get away from that, which we really are starting to get away from, you can realize yourself that it's pinnacle right now with everything that's going on. We are at a sort of crossroads of which direction our country is going to go in. And even in the last few days with the flag on the back of the England shirt, I mean, it is so important that people turn up on the 23rd. And I know that they're from my YouTube channel, from the Facebook event that's going on, thousands are coming, and it's going to be a beautiful moment, not just for us, but for everyone that's going to be able to see that we are still here. The English are still here. We're proud, and it doesn't matter what colour you are. It doesn't matter what
exactly.
This is about English. This is about the English. There's a lot of people that especially on Twitter, that are writing, well, can a black person say? To say those sort of things.
It's ridiculous.
Say those sort of things shows you that they're not in reality of what we're actually facing. These problems that we're facing is for everyone, and it's now about time that we stood up and had our say, and that's going to happen on the 23rd.
That's funny, Danny. It's like for the last 18 months, my wife and we've been considering packing up and taking the kids and the grandkids off to Spain. And I made the decision about 6 weeks ago that it was time for me and everyone else out there, just good, honest, solid people to come out, to put our hands up and go, look, I'm not leaving my country. I'm going to stay and I'm going to fight for my grandchildren's future. I'm not going to be afraid anymore. I'm not going to be afraid of labels. You know, my grandfather lost his arm age 16 fighting for this country. If he didn't desert this country, why should I?
Exactly that. Yeah, my grandfather was the same. My grandfather, June 6th, 1944, one of the first waves of D-Day. You know, we've forgotten what these men did for us. Yeah. We really have. I mean, we're very comfortable in our lives at the moment, and a lot of people don't want to come out of their comfort zone. But I tell you now, the way things have changed over the last 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years in the future when our children are in the late 20s, early 30s. It's going to be a scary place. It really is. It really, really is.
What's the support been like, Danny? Because I tell you what, I mean, it's almost gone viral, isn't it? This has grown huge in a very. There's a big appetite for it. Yeah,
there has to be, because people are fed up and they're looking for a direction, and the direction that they're not getting is all the people that they listen to and take inspiration from are being cancelled, being taken away from the major platforms. A lot of people, when I upload stuff of documentaries that Tommy's done, people are like, well, they haven't heard from him for 2 years. So to have a collective group of people like yourself, myself, and other people that are talking about this, it's making it massive, and it's gone viral. It's all over TikTok. I mean, there's a lot of interest in this, and for rightly so, because this is for our country, and everyone should be there.
And more importantly, as you've already said, I consider it to be a day that we're investing in our children.
Absolutely.
And that's the most important part for me. I mean, I take it the support, has been great. Have you had any, any negatives? What have the police been like? What's their response been?
So I only ever speak to one police officer who is the guy that from 2018 was the first police officer that was on the ground with me, making sure the stage was in the right places, making sure the crowds, the left were far away enough to not cause problems. And I went directly to him this time. Now, he even said to me, I think the coppers will be quite happy to see, for once, English flags flying in England. They've had to deal with absolute idiots over the last few months and last few years. And I think for them, even though we've got to keep our feet on the ground as to what they're about, the two-tier policing and who they really are and how they've behaved towards individuals like Tommy, it looks okay. I think we'll be okay today. I don't think there'll be any dramas. I think this is being, to them, they're not stupid. They look online. They know how big this is going to be. They know they have to play ball. And this is a family event. There's going to be families. There are going to be, hopefully, political parties that, the lower ones that want to get involved with the working class. I think that's very important, because what people have to understand is that this going into central London and causing drama and trying to fight with the police is not going to work in our favour whatsoever. It will make a complete negative side of this. What needs to happen is we need to come together, realise that we are a huge majority of people that have the same thinking pattern, we believe in the same things, and we need to turn that to a political party that can actually start changing things. And in 2018, the opportunity came about when Tommy became a spokesperson for UKIP. And in my eyes, that was going to be the point where, okay, this is going to be massive. We're going to be able to turn our movement into a political force and potentially get MPs into Parliament to change things.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, UKIP started. There was two sides to UKIP: the ones that liked him and the ones that didn't. And unfortunately, the infighting within UKIP changed the whole dynamics of how it could have gone. But it's not too late. I think there is political parties that at the moment reform that potentially could change stuff, but we've got to be careful of who's at the top of that chain. I mean, Richard Tice, he talks a good game, but you have to go back a few years ago to see what the stuff he was saying about the vaccines. And he is an elitist. I think we have to be careful that we don't fall under that sort of umbrella of just hoping so much that they're going to change it, given all our sort of support to it, and then it comes to it then being exactly the same as everyone else. So it's going to be good to see on the day. I'm very, very interested to see the speakers. We're in the process of getting Katie Hopkins, which I think will be absolutely fantastic for the day. She is a absolute lioness of England. She's had a fair share of being cancelled, but yeah, I'm hoping she'll be there. That'll be a big one.
That is, I guess, Danny, if we're honest, that is the fear. I mean, certainly from the media's viewpoint, at least, every time I speak about this, and in my future messages will be, look, lads, for God's sake, don't even blink, because the media will be on it like a bloody rat down a drain pipe, trying to get all the wrong pictures, trying to give us all the wrong press. It's so important that everyone respects the day, respects the flag, and most importantly, Danny, respect people like yourself who put yourself on the line for this. The last thing that any of us need is for certain small elements to come and spoil it for everyone.
There's always those elements. They've always been there. We've always dealt with them on the days very quickly to make them aware this is not what they're there for. We are not extremists. We care about our country. We are not there to fight with police. We are there to make our voices heard, coming together as a collective group of English men and women to show the England that we are not going anywhere. We're here to fight your corner, and it's going to be a day where people are going to look back and their kids are going to look back and they're going to be part of it, just like we did in 2008. I mean, you've got to understand, Paul, in 2018, the first demonstration that I organised had in excess of 50,000 people attend. Yeah. I was at the bottom of the stage and I watched as a river of English, British men, women and children came streaming down from Trafalgar Square. And it was one of the, I even getting goosebumps now thinking about that moment, because it was a moment where I realised that the majority are like us. The majority are like us, and it's the minority that have the social media, the lefty platforms, Facebook, Instagram. If it hasn't been for Elon Musk, we'd still be saying the same about Twitter. But now is the time. We have a platform where people like yourself, they're starting to come out of the woodwork and realising that, these labels, they don't stick anymore. They used to stick, they don't anymore.
Exactly. I'm not having it anymore. If anyone wants to throw that at me now, I'm just going to call them an Anglophobe. And going back to 2018, I was there that day. I went along on my own.
Oh, did you?
Mate. I did, because I felt that a certain Mr. Robinson deserved everyone's support that day. And I travelled up on my own from Brighton, and I actually bumped into a mutual friend of ours, Liam. And, it was a day that will live in my memory.
Yeah.
I come home that day almost in tears to the wife, because I just felt so sorry for a man that had been treated so utterly appallingly by the state. And I've never, ever been able to forgive him for that. Do you think, it's a big question, but do you think that down the line that Tommy's going to make more of a mainstream comeback? Because his views now, the days where he was ridiculed, because a lot of people that have tried to ridicule him in the past are now wiping egg off their face.
I know. A lot of what we're in a position now where a lot of what Tommy said, pretty much all of it has come true. If only they would have listened in the beginning. The problem is with trying to get the media on side, you're never going to do it. We have to accept that the media is controlled. The media throws the narrative out, which they're being told to throw out. I mean, you've only got to look over the pond. Donald Trump, I mean, look at the media. No matter if he's president or not president, no matter how many people vote for him, no matter how many lies are told and prove that they're lies, how many, Russia hoax, all this stuff, all proven to be absolute bullshit. And we're in a position where even then the media will not change their narrative. We have to get away from the fact of feeling like until the media tell us what we need to hear, that we just need to carry on doing it until we get to that point. Forget the media. We are the media. People like you, Paul, are the media. People get their news now from places like Twitter, places like YouTube, more than they do from news outlets anyway. We're in a position now where that we're away from that. And now people are starting to wake up and realise that the media are lying to them. They have been for many years. And it's actually a really good place to be, because that just helps to push forward with bringing back our country to what it was once before. But forget the media. The media will never be on our side. When it comes back to the question that you asked about Tommy, it's never too late for Tommy to get involved in the mainstream. Unfortunately for him, that every major platform has a plan to keep him at bay. The British establishment have a way of bringing him into court every 6 months and making sure that all of his, his time is tied up in the court cases, not allowing him to have time to do the things that we're discussing going into the mainstream. But I think in the future we will have to see, because people like Tommy going into, if they don't, then where will we be?
Yeah, he seems to have matured a lot over the last couple of years. Whenever I watch him now, I mean, Tommy himself admits to having his faults in the past, but he seems to have matured a lot.
Yeah, he has.
Danny, I've just lost your audio, mate.
He's going to turn it off. He's matured a lot. I mean, from where we were in 10 years ago when he was doing stuff with the EDL, and that message was brutal and the way that they did it, but unfortunately at that time it was the way it needed to be. The person that he is today, with the documentaries and everything that he's doing, he's grown massively, and it will only ever go in one direction now, and it will just get better and better, especially with the documentaries that he's doing. They are world-class documentaries. They really are.
Danny, I get a feeling at last that there's a mood sweeping our wonderful nation. At last. We've been waiting for the last 20 years. The lion's been snoozing away with both eyes shut. In the last 5 to 10 years, it's had one eye open. It's just about to wake up, and I think, we're going to see the British Lion once again, because I tell you what, mate, you say about St George's Day in England, you would not believe how many messages I've had from the guys up in Scotland, from Wales, going, we want to come. We want to support you boys.
No, I get the same.
Unbelievable.
A lot of people are saying to me, why are you not making this a British thing? Why not make... I understand what they're saying, but for me, I had to have a focus. Now, the focus for the 23rd of April is an iconic day for the English. That does not mean that we don't want the British nations, the Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland to come. But my focus is making this a St George's Day celebration and making sure that we use that, because look at what they're doing with the flag on the England shirt. I mean, they're actually really taking the mick out of us in a bad old way, and to not, and to have politicians in this country even talking about it and saying it's not right, to then still not be in a position where someone is high enough to say, no, you've got to go back and you've got to change that, and you've got to put it back to what it was. I mean, that in itself, these corporations just are taking the absolute mick.
At the end of the day, though, Danny, do we honestly believe that Keir Starmer or Rishi Sunak really give a shit about the England flag when they don't give a shit about the goddamn country?
They're doing it for votes. They're saying
lip
this because
service.
They know that's what the public want to hear.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's because if you look at the I mean, I'm a Christian. When I look at it from a Christian point of view, the way the UK is going, taking God out of schools, the way that anything to do with Christianity isn't promoted the way that other religions are promoted in England. I mean, we are a Christian country, and I feel that the Christian religion is at the bottom of the pile. I mean, you look around London for the Muslim celebration of Ramadan. They've got massive big lights. There's a big show for turn the lights on, and for the Muslim community, I imagine that's brilliant. And okay, but we're an English nation, we're a Christian nation, and I feel like the Christianity in our country is just declining, because it's an agenda to take that, because we lived our lives up to very recently. Everyone, I mean, my grandparents, your grandparents, everyone lived by Christian values. Everyone lived that life because it gave us a sense of understanding how you should be, how you should live, how you should be nice to people, you shouldn't steal, all these things. And everything is just being dragged out of society at the moment, and bringing it to these, the children that are literally addicted to these platforms, and they've got no sense of direction, no sense of their own country, and it's very sad to see. But I'm hoping that something changes in the future with that, because God knows what we're going to be with it in 10 years.
Exactly. I mean, sadly, down here in Brighton, they're just about to close to infant schools. One C of E school, one Catholic school going. The council won't fund them anymore. But they're the only schools that are going, by the way. No one else's schools are going, just the Church of England school and the Catholic school. It is what it is, Danny. Look, I'm really, really excited about the 23rd, and I'm just encouraging everyone, please, if you never do anything else in your life, this is the most important day in our history for a very, very, very long time. Yeah. Danny's putting himself on the line. There's other guys putting themselves on the line. We're all doing our bit. We're spreading the word. Please come along, please. Whatever you do. One guy said to me the other day, I want to come, phoned up about hotels. It's very expensive. Look, wherever you stay on the outskirts of London, you're only a 15-minute tube ride away from Whitehall. Yeah. Go stay in Watford. Go stay, 7-8 miles outside the centre of London. As long as you're within that underground network, you're 15, 20 minutes away from us. Get yourselves down there.
That's why we did it for 3 o'clock, because I know that people are travelling. So we've done it at 3 o'clock to hope that people, if they leave really early in the morning from far, far away, they can still get down. You've got to understand, this is a day that we've not had for a very, very long time. This is a day where people are actually feeling a very sense of collective Englishness about us all. We're all coming together. We're all going to be there on the day. I mean, we're trying to get, Katie Hopkins is pretty much confirmed. We're looking, we're going to get other speakers of those levels. I mean, we're looking at Lawrence Fox. I know he's got a good message. I mean, it's a bit far-fetched. We are going to try and get a word to Nigel Farage once he realises the size of the event, potentially. But he, again, is an elitist in some respects, so that probably won't happen. But we're going to try. Obviously, Tommy, if he can on the day, will be there and speaking. It will be a day to remember. It will be a day that you will go home feeling a sense of absolute pride in your nation, in your country, in your flag. And you will, from that day, receive information to forward this and get this moving so that we can start getting our country back. And what that means is things like a political stance, a political direction, because the only way that we can change things in real time is to get MPs into Westminster.
100%.
To start getting them to talk for us, because none of them speak for us at the moment. And I mean none of them. They are all from the same schools. They're all from the very high, from the rich areas. They have not got a clue what it means to live in real England. They don't know what it means to live in these big cities around this mass immigration that's being forced upon us. So it'd be very interesting to see if we can push this in our political movement. And Tommy is pinnacle to that. And people that like yourself and keep talking about it is absolutely crucial. But I promise you now, if you come the 23rd, you will not regret it.
Absolutely. Well done, Danny. Absolutely every success to you, mate. I can't wait to meet you and shake your hand, because I think the work that you're doing is fantastic. And good luck. We'll see you there. And guys, if you're watching this, please make sure you come along. Don't let us down, guys. Please be there for your children.
We'll see you there.